Good morning, guys. I am Patty Elhoff. I am the author of Upcycle with Decoupage. Sorry about that glare on there. And I'm going to show you today how we can upcycle one of these vases that you've probably got sitting around. And we're going to do a Christmas theme on this. So I'll show you what we need to get started. Actually, I'll show you what we need for the whole project. I found these cool napkins that have that foil-like Christmas tree on the front of them. And I'm going to cut out a couple of the trees, and I'm not getting that involved in the cutting. Just going around the edge is fine. And any napkin with one central theme in the center will work for this project. Then we're going to need our decoupage glue. A top coat. I'm going to use a very high gloss top coat. This is not quite mulberry paper. It's a textured paper that I bought in an art supply store. If you would like, you can go to my website at www.upcyclewithdecoupage.vpweb.com, and I'll put links up on my site so that you can go right over and purchase some of this paper. Mulberry paper works fine. We're also going to need junky plastic wrap. If you don't have any of this around, or if you don't want to use the expensive stuff, you can use a baggie. I'm going to have a couple of glitters. This is fabric paint. And of course, a couple of different brushes. Need a nail file with a very heavy grit, and scissors, because you're going to need to cut this out, or cut your image out. I'm going to be tearing some small to large pieces of this. Now these hard edges we're going to be using along the top, but we're actually going to be overlapping anyway. That's where the nail file is going to come in. So I'm going to tear off a bunch of these in different sizes to go all over the vase. I forgot to mention, you may want to keep a little bowl or cup of water handy. And I'm going to start to decoupage the paper onto the vase. Now I picked that up with the brush because it had a little decoupage glue on it, placed it down, and then I dipped my brush in the water. And since this paper is so thin, it's going to help it sink in. So I put decoupage glue down. Naturally, it wouldn't work the second time. I dipped my brush back in the decoupage glue to make it a little tacky. And overlapping is fine. And while I'm at it, I'll show you up here. As we get in the curve, we're overlapping the paper that we just put down. And this is what I mean by a hard edge. Instead of a nice soft edge like that, we're going to overlap the piece that we just put down, dipping the brush in the water. See how it helps the paper lay nice and flat. And the rim of the vase is up here. We want some decoupage glue on that so that we can kind of wrap the paper over that. We want it to stick there. And when we're done, we're going to file that off. Once you've gone all around the vase, just make sure you go around again with a wet brush and make sure that these areas at the base and the top don't have any air bubbles in there. And I'm going to let this dry and then we'll come back and move on to the next step. This is dry for the most part. There are a few tiny spots where it's not yet dry, but it's okay, we're going to move on. This is all very dry. And it is easier to cut the image out, whatever you're using. It's easier to cut it when you've got all three plies together. Dip the brush in the decoupage glue. And now we're going to let this stage dry, just this part where the images are. Once it's dry, add decoupage glue over the whole vase. Let that dry, and then we'll come back to the next step. Second layer is dry now. And I'm going to go around this whole piece with, this is a newer acrylic nail file. The heavier the grit, the better. And it's also better to go in one direction, just like with your nails, rather than back and forth. Just one direction. I put a piece of wax paper down because I am going to now use this dimensional fabric paint and the glitter. Now I'm going to let this dry, and when it's dry, I'm going to add the top coat. I just sprayed some clear top coat over this, the whole piece, and I'm now going to add the second color of glitter. It's still whitish. And I just like to give, especially anything for the holidays, a nice sparkly glitter, because a lot of times it ends up in front of little Christmas lights. And here's our completed vase. Now this is in the dark, obviously, with some candles around it and a candle inside of it. Put a little bit of light. I'll put a lot more light on it so you can see how it looks. And we'll do a little close-up right there. See how that top part came out. And now I'll put the light on for you. It'll probably take a second to adjust. And that is how our final vase came out. Pretty nice for something that was originally just a clear glass vase. You can see the glitter on there. The glitter actually comes out better in different sorts of light. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a little note here on YouTube. And happy holidays to everyone. Thank you very much for subscribing. I will be back soon with another video. And again, my book is called Upcycle with Decoupage. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Scobie Books, and several online retailers. Makes a lovely Christmas gift. It's still not too late. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. Bye.